Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Comics with Callaway, and today we've got Tomb Raider #1 from Dan Jurgens, released back in 1999. One thing about this beer flu that we can't talk about that's going around, it's sad what it's doing to the industry, and the industry stopped publishing new books. One positive to that is it finally gives me some time to start reading all my back issues from the 90s and the 2000s that I haven't read. I've got about two short boxes full of books. I think about 100 books that I haven't read that I've just been collecting, and now that the downtime, it gives me time to catch up and read them all. So here we've got Tomb Raider #1 back in the 90s, and say what we will about politics and agendas and things in modern day comics and movies and things like that. But for me personally, when I read a comic book, there's usually two things for me that stand out to whether it's a good comic and whether I like it or not. Uh, Number one, I find myself, if I can read a comic without getting halfway through or a quarter way through, or getting through it, and I find myself flipping the pages to see how many pages I've got left, or if I that so if I find myself flipping through the pages to see how many pages I got left, it means it's a boring book. And the other thing that tells me if a book is good or not is if it makes me want to get the next issue, if I'm excited for the next issue. This one was a good book. I didn't find myself at all flipping pages to see how many pages I got left. When you get halfway through a book, it's like, oh, this is dragging on. Didn't have any of that. And when I finished even reading through this book, and when I finally got to the end, I was actually bummed because I don't have #2 yet. So I've got to go and get #2 and track it down, because now I want to keep reading this. So this book was really good, classic 90s style, female characters done right. So it starts off, Lara, she's in Iran, and she's stealing back a necklace from that Iranian stole from the Israeli embassy, I think it is. Yeah, they stole it from the Israeli embassy. So we start off. She's on the run, and they're trying to find out where she is, and they're going through and they're taking off the masks of the females, and she's like, "Isn't that against the law?" So she gets caught, and we get to this page, and it's just like classic 90s style. That one page right here tells you everything about how comics should be. She's a woman. She's drawn very, very sexy and gorgeous. She's attractive. She's strong. She's empowered, without none of the political agenda that we have these days. And we've got here her what's he? Sorry, Compton is he's narrating the book, and it's when a woman in question is Lara Croft, the complete package, gorgeous, talented, and deadly. That tells you everything that you need to know about a book, and without all the modern day feminist stuff. She's sexy, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, talented, and she's good at what she does. She doesn't have to put characters aren't made to be silly comic relief in the book to make her look good. She stands strong, stands tall on her own. That's how comics should be. And this book was really, Dan Jurgens is a really good writer. I really like his work, and this book was just classic 90s, and I want to read #2. So she's on the run. She's being chased from the Iranians, and she's looking gorgeous and sexy, and she's running from them. Again, we've still got Compton narrating the book, and he's just explaining who Lara is, and he's worried that the plan is that he won't make it this time to save her. They've had so many close calls on missions, and he's afraid that this time he may not be there to save her. So she hijacks a little Jeep, and she tells this guy to keep driving. And we get this page, and she gets to a cliff, and she jumps off the cliff. And as Compton's coming up in the helicopter, she jumps out and she grabs the ladder, and they get away. And this is Compton saying, Lara expended every effort in getting to the cliff, expecting to find me there. Fortunately, I was close enough, and she was able to catch the ladder on the way down. Sure as my name's Hartford Compton, I would have killed myself if she had missed. So this kind of like Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Alfred, whereas in this, it's Lara and Hartford. He's the father figure because her mother and father have died. So I really like that relationship between them two. And then you get to this page, and you just you look at it, and the artwork is beautiful, and Lara Croft is beautiful and stunning, drawn, sexy. She's not degraded. When I read this book, you don't feel like you're degrading her and body shaming her because she's attractive in the book. She's attractive, pulls you into the book, makes you want to keep reading, and it makes you want to know more about her character. And in this book shows how attractive she is through the whole book, but it's not just her character. It's not, she's just a sexy woman or an attractive woman that can do anything. It's written well in the back, like the 90s. It's written well that she's attractive, she's strong, she's powerful, and it's not just a one-dimensional, two-dimensional character. So she's chatting with Compton, and she's got a meeting with this French guy that's coming to meet him on their boat in the Mediterranean. And Compton's worried because anyone who knows this man fears this man. He's obviously a very dangerous criminal in the underworld. So she has a meeting, and he wants her to find this ancient artifact called the Mudessa mask. What hasn't been seen since 1505, back in the 1500s. And he says to her, how much will it take? Would it be 1 million, 2 million, 3 million? And I think she agrees that it's a high price, and it's a well publicized artifact in ancient history. I think she does it for nothing. So she agrees to do it, and he takes off, and then she goes to sleep. And this part here is Compton narrating. This line really hooks you in, and it really, because she says, I'm going to go rest, and he's like, rest. At times such as this, it becomes abundantly clear that Lara Croft is perhaps the most restless young woman alive. Though I'm no psychoanalyst, her losses in life, her father, mother, fiancé, and a plane crash drive her forever forward in search of that which she can't be found, her own personal peace. And then you have the tears in her eye, and it just sucks you in. Just the writing in this one issue by Dan Jurgens is just, it pulls you in, and you just wanted to keep reading. And that's, like I said, when I finally got to the end, I was upset because I don't have issue 2, so I can't keep going. So she goes to they find this underground wreckage where this Mudessa mask was last seen, where it's supposed to be. And she's talking to Compton. He's up on the boat, and she's just saying, you just stay up here, hold the fort, and make sure my air doesn't run out, things like that. So she's scuba diving down, and she finds the boat, and then we see that there's someone else in there. Someone's come in and put a bomb on their boat. And then whoever this villain is, or whoever he is, has cut the airline to Lara's tanks, and something's gone wrong. Something's happened. Compton's lost all contact with her, and boom, their boat's been exploded, blew up, and she doesn't know what's going on. She's running out of air, and she's got to try and swim to the top to see. And then it says, continued in next month, Tomb Raider 2. At least we hope so. So I'll probably show too many pages. I'm probably going to get a copyright strike. But this book I was never really into Tomb Raider as a kid or anything. My auntie, she loves Tomb Raider. You go to her house, and on every wall has got portraits of Angelina Jolie is Tomb Raider. She's an artist, so she loves drawing. Wolverine and Tomb Raider are my auntie's favourite characters. and she loves Tomb Raider, but I never really got into it. And then probably in recent years, probably 2 years ago, I've read the latest issues, and my first Tomb Raider book I read was the Tamaki run, and you can imagine wasn't the best run, so it was sort of didn't really like Tomb Raider after that. I saw the latest movie and it wasn't too bad, but yeah, my first Tomb Raider run I read was the one from Tamaki, and I didn't read the Gail Simone one because I wasn't going to touch that, but I was a bit naive and blind to Tamaki back then. I didn't really know who she was, and that run was just awful. So then I picked this one up. I found it digging through the short boxes in my local comic shop, and I found this number one, and I sort of put it in the box and never got around to reading it. So, and then now that new comic days and stuff aren't coming anymore, gives me a chance to read old books. So I figured I'll read this and do a video, and I'm glad I did. This book was awesome. Can't recommend it enough. I'm not sure how rare they are or how many prints, but I'm going to have to see if I can find these and continue reading, because, as I said, two things that just for myself personally, I go on whether a book is good or bad or whether I like it, is if I find myself flipping through the pages to see how many I've got left, it's a boring book for me. Or if then when I get to the end, if I'm really excited to read the next one. And both were a tick for me. Yeah, so I recommend it. Any Tomb Raider fans out there, anyone just is tired of reading the new crap that we're getting from new comics these days. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider in the 90s. This book, I think it was 1999 it came out. Really good. Liked it. Strong. Just drawn beautiful, not demeanor, not degraded, not anything. She's just beautiful the way comics are. It's what got people into comics is the art form, and the art in this book is fantastic. So that's the video, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please share the videos, and I'll keep reading old back issues. I've got 2 short boxes to get through, and I'll do videos on the books. Thanks, guys.